whatever your dominant sacred energy is, you need to embrace that energy. That's what's going to allow you to bring balance to your relationships. Once women, and I'm putting us in the driver's seat. Why? Because we give birth. We are the cosmic womb. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm. We are the womb that mirrors the cosmic womb. We are where everything germinates. We give life to all, right? Don't let anybody else tell you anything different. It does not make sense. That too was created as a form and a way to disempower you. So, greetings. This is part 2 of the video that I'm bringing to everyone who is watching that has to do with balancing the divine feminine and divine masculine energies. This is the part of the video that is focusing in on what the distorted masculine and feminine energies are, how they play out, how they manifest. In part 2, I told you I was fasting. I was doing a water fast. My beloved husband, whom I asked to support me first thing this morning, decided he wanted to bring me in something that I just could not resist. So needless to say, that's why my mouth is watering, because in between video 1 and video 2, I decided to take the plunge. So, okay, I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to start back tomorrow. I had a little fun. That's the playful in me. That's the divine feminine in me. So I wanted to talk today about the distorted shadow aspects of these sacred energies so that you can see them within yourself and begin to do the inner work. I think I told you in the first video, this has been a difficult journey for me. I've been in my masculine energy for the majority of my life due to many experiences that any child should never have to have. But I am on my sojourn towards wholeness again, and it has been a part of my goal and focus, off and on, but much more constant now, to bring those energies back into union within myself. And as I do that within myself, then I'm able to do that in partnership with my lover as well. And so this is a wonderful time, and it's one of my favorite topics. I mentioned also in January 2020, I will be releasing the next in a series of courses that you all may or may not be familiar with. Some of you have registered for some of my courses, the Tarot course, Prosperity Mindset, all those things that are on my online school, Power Down Academy. But anyway, this will be a sequence of classes that helps you to get back into your sacred divine feminine energy and live a more balanced life and manifest greater levels of fulfillment in the relationships that you are in, or greater levels of fulfillment in the relationship, the magical relationship you want to bring into your life if you are loverless, in the sense that you don't have a partner right now. You can get one. So there's a lot of work to be done, though, and as I go over what the distorted feminine energy is like and what the distorted masculine energy is like, I want you to keep in mind that these are indicators of things within yourselves that you should be able to easily identify with if you are willing to be honest with yourself. And that's what this takes. When you hear what these qualities are, it requires that you be able to look within yourself and identify the ones that you resonate with, and be willing to really take a critical look at your life and say, that's a weakness that I have. I'm doing that. That's sabotaging myself, and that's sabotaging my partner. Or this is a pattern that's been in all of my relationships. So I'm attracting this. And the reason why is because we can't talk about the work that we're not doing. You can't make improvements in your life if you're not willing to do the work. And it's just that simple. Dealing with the inner emotional baggage and the karmic debris that we attract and that we work out throughout lifetimes is something that requires our attention and our mindfulness. But before we can do any of that, we have to shine the light of awareness on these aspects of ourselves. And so we can look at the triggers and the things that are the areas where we get upset and we lose our cool. We can also begin to look at the people around us who've come into our lives to be mirrors. There's so many other things that we can begin to do some of this sacred work. And the reason why it's so sacred is it reflects what's going on in society. Yes, we are awakening. Yes, the divine feminine is coming back to the forefront and taking her rightful place in the cycle of life. But as well, we are vomiting up many of these patriarchal paradigms that have suppressed us. And it's important that we be able to understand that this was created, and it was created systemically and deliberately in order to disenfranchise women. Because ultimately, while I'm talking about balancing, I'm geared towards helping women to step into their feminine energy. But any man should be able to benefit from this video, because as I have explained to you, part of the reason why we have the distorted feminine is because the masculine is not in his true energy either. And his energy is distorted. And he actually is the cause of why we are in the space that we are in, from way, way, way back. 3,000 years, let's say. Let's give it a number, okay? The whole time we've been traveling through this patriarchal paradigm, whose major focus has been to strip the divine feminine of her natural power, which is no longer possible because we're coming back to the forefront. And as well, we have many men who are stepping into their divine masculine. And when you have a divine masculine, he has no problems getting along with his divine feminine. So I say this to say, in relationship, except when I'm not talking about the extremes and the people who are outliers and the people or the folks who are with the wrong person or in an abusive relationship or something like that. But when the feminine is in her true energy, and it's not just a gender thing, and it's not just a feminine energy, because when I say in her energy, I mean having balanced her own inner divine masculine and her own inner divine feminine. And the masculine having balanced his own inner divine masculine and his own inner divine feminine, they don't have problems getting along because they're created as natural complementary energies, just like everything else in this wonderful, magnificent paradise in which we call Earth, this cosmos in which we reside. So it is super, 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 super important, and I need to make sure the volume is up because I am focusing in on, wow, I hope I didn't miss this because it was very low. And I didn't check it before I did my other video, and I don't want to have to do that one again. My voice is a little lower because I'm doing my work and I'm trying to be more mindful, especially today. I mentioned I had a class, which is what prompted me to go ahead and talk about these things while they're still so fresh, and I make sure I get the most critical information out there. This is a lifelong journey. This is a substantial and profound undertaking. 3 videos is not going to be sufficient. You're constantly doing the work. And so that's where I am in my life, trying to become more self-aware, striving towards higher ideals, trying to balance these energies within myself so that I can exist in better harmony with my husband, who, by the way, is the best representation of a divine masculine energy that I can think of. And that's just the truth. And he is not complete. He has still a lot of work to do. We all do. But he possesses more of the traits than any person that I've ever known. And I'm blessed in that sense. And so I'm trying to find greater appreciation, and I'm trying to find greater balance within myself so that I might harmonize with that more effectively. And we'll see what happens. So the distorted feminine energy is the energy archetype that predominates when the divine feminine energy, the true feminine nature, has been suppressed, corrupted, exploited, whatever you want to call it. That archetype becomes her energy. The distorted masculine archetype is the energy that characterizes a masculine who is not in his sacred energy as well. That energy has been blocked and he is functioning outside of what is his ideal. Those two energies come together and you have what you see in America and everywhere else around the world, with the exception of those few enlightened people who are trying to do the work and who are living according to higher spiritual ideals and who have freed themselves from the confines of indoctrination, institutional thinking, limited paradigms, and the matrix, and all of these other terms that we don't like to take responsibility for. We are dealing with this right now at this particular point of our consciousness because of the fact that we are evolving. And like everything else in the cosmos, nothing remains motionless. Nothing stands still. We are either constantly moving towards greater degrees of inner awareness, cosmic evolution, consciousness and awakening, or either we are regressing. All right? But we are constantly in motion, and that is a choice that you make. And I have chosen to take the high road. I have chosen to expand my consciousness and to invite greater experience and revelation into my life. That's the journey that I've decided to take. I don't know of any other journey, and I've been on that journey forever, and it never ends. We study, we learn, we grow from the cradle to the grave and then beyond. So anyway, I want to talk about that distorted feminine energy and the distorted masculine. These are the two energies within. Remember, we talked about polarity. Okay, without polarity, there is no chemistry. All right, you can't have two men in the bedroom. One of them's got to have a feminine energy, or the man and the woman, have to be opposites. Opposites attract. There's that polarity. Everything within our universe has a natural polarity. That represents the yin and yang energies that we're constantly talking about. The night, the day, the winter, the summer, the everything that you think of. The laws of the universal law of polarity characterizes everything in this universe. There's not a thing that you can name that does not have polarity. The idea is that when we are living in duality and those polarities are not balanced, we cannot see that they are one and the same and that they must exist in order for a wholeness to perpetuate. Or in order for a wholeness to occur, those energies must be balanced. And so we're living in times, as we have been since I've been living and way beyond, way before, where the energies are not balanced. And so we need to step up to the plate. And as women, first teachers, the more vast, fuller, connected energy, we are able to facilitate that change faster and more efficiently than our masculine counterparts. However, they are not absolved of their responsibilities either. But the quicker we work on these energies and we can identify them and we start to see how they play out in relationship, the faster we can begin to heal ourselves, heal our relationships, heal our families, heal our society. So distorted feminine. These are where the energies of the ideal are in distortion. They're either overactive or underactive. So what are we talking about? Things like inner emptiness, preoccupation with the physical. This is everything. Okay, I gotta fix this up. I gotta doctor this up. This is everything, but there's nothing inside. Okay, that's the kind of inner emptiness I'm talking about. I'm not saying let yourself go. You don't have to manifest the glory of God within and beautify yourself and be creative. That's a part of your femininity. But what I'm saying is when that permeates at the expense of everything else and you feel like you have to get on TV and show your body and you have to sexually objectify yourself, which is what has happened to you over the course of time at the hands of the masculine or the masculine energy, the distorted masculine, then that's problematic because then you are identifying with the outward instead of going within and connecting with the reality of who you are. So we're talking about things like impatience, neediness, man-hating, indecisive, hysterical, emotionally unavailable. Remember, the feminine energy is about going within. It's about stillness. It's about intuition. It's about emotion, deep feeling, deep insight. It's about heart energy. That's the feminine energy. It's creative energy. It's the inner warrior energy. It's the balancing energy. It's the energy of justice. It's harmony. It's water. It's flowing. It exudes. It's powerful. It just is. It's all about being, right? So when that energy is distorted, we have that inner emptiness. We have that emotional imbalance, that emotional disequilibrium, emotional unavailability, self-hate, low self-esteem, using sex for power or sexual manipulation, cold, hard, self-absorbed, nagging, emotionally controlling, jealous, manipulative, joyless, dominated by negative emotion, feeling unloved, emotionally exhausted. Now we've talked a lot about the extremes of it, but we also need to talk about when that energy is deficient and that energy is not flowing the way it needs to. So on the other end of that, you may have someone who's emotionally exhausted because they're depleted, because they're failing to take care of themselves, because they think part of being a woman is nurturing everybody else. And so they do that at the expense of themselves, which in my estimation, now that I know better, is a form of martyrdom, is a form of imbalance, is a way of not addressing what your real issues are. So you hide behind the people that you care for, and your inner masculine energy has not allowed you to stand in and step into your power and recognize that you need to take care of yourself, that you need to set boundaries, that you need to have sacred space for you to pour into yourself so that you can be the reservoir that keeps everything else going within your home, within the community, and within the greater collective, because it's our energy that penetrates through, above, beyond, and that transcends. That is a feminine energy. That's not a masculine energy. We are so blessed if we but knew. And so, feels unloved, emotionally exhausted, I said, powerless, victim mentality, oh, woe is me, all of these things have happened to me, I'm helpless, I'm the damsel in distress, I can't do for myself. That is a part of the distorted feminine. Yes, we have been raped, we have been exploited, we have been taken advantage of, we have been suppressed. We have to heal those things, recognize them for what they are, and then move beyond them. We can't keep punishing our masculine, the masculine within, because if we don't resolve the energy within, remember, how we view the masculine energy and relate within self determines how we relate outside, and the anger and all of that we deal with within as a resentment energy or anything else that's dysfunctional or out of alignment influences the way that we see that energy, and we absorb that energy and take it in and judge it in the greater environment. And so we could be, well, this next one talks about, I think I may have even said it, man-hating. Man-hating. Where does that come from? You think all men are bad. All men are not bad. There are plenty of good ones out there. There are plenty of bad ones, but there are plenty of good women out there, and there are plenty of bad women out there as well, right? Sexually aggressive, promiscuous, passive-aggressive, dissatisfied, unappreciated, self-critical, self-judgmental, disconnected from intuition, power-hungry, masculine, constantly in motion, doing this, going to work, working long days, workaholic. That used to be me. I've brought more balance to my life in the last 4 years. I like to call that my sobriety, because I began to wake up to the nature of who I truly was, or I began to embody more of that energy. That wasn't necessarily when I began to awaken, but it was the beginning of a critical time and juncture in my life. And I had just come out of almost another dark night of the soul, which we have many of, as far as I'm concerned, as we continue to evolve and be willing to grow, stretch, and take our lives to the next level. So when you listen to some of these, I want you to ask yourself, which one of those things ring a bell? And based on those energies, what other things could I add to the list? Because this list is by no means exhaustive. It's missing so much. But look at the relationship patterns that you may have. Look at some of the things that you're having issues with in relationship, and be willing to be honest with yourself. Listen to and play back some of the comments that maybe some of your lovers have said about you. You're too controlling. You're always nagging. Why do you have to yell? Why are you so mean? Those kinds of things, they reflect back to you what you need to hear and see so that you can grow. That shall not resist. All right, the distorted masculine energies. Now, these are the energies that screwed us up. These are the energies that we still deal with. I think I mentioned in the last video, I made reference to President Trump and saying that while we sit back and criticize that man, whether you call him a buffoon, an ignoramus, a racist, whatever you want to call him, it doesn't matter. He represents the epitome of the distorted masculine energy. But it amazes me in all of the men who criticize him, they fail to identify with him because they are so like him in so many ways. So those things that we need to come to know are those things that we can identify, are those things that we can criticize. We can identify with them because they represent parts of us, and they're triggers for the deeper parts of ourselves that we need to deal with, right? So even if we're talking about our divine masculine within ourselves, there are aspects of his personality that we can identify with. I mean, you could go on for days and days and days, but to act as though this man is outside of you or outside of other men that are around you and some of the things that they do, just because those things look different, the underlying distortions and the underlying energetic imbalances are the same. So he is on the grand stage for us all to see so that we may be willing to look more within ourselves and address our own dark side. So here we have rigid, competitive. Being competitive says a lot of things. It's a healthy little sense of competition, but being competitive says that there's not enough for everybody. Being competitive says I need to go for self at the expense of everybody else. Being competitive says to hell with everyone else and what they want. The only thing that's important is what I want. Being competitive is all about self. It's very individualistic. It's very contracting. Focusing on the self, or selfish. Selfish to the extent that it harms other people. I'm not talking about the type of selfish that we women coming back into our goddess natures need to begin to embrace more of. That's not what I'm talking about. Verbally and physically abusive, emotionally abusive, self-absorbed, possessive. These are still qualities within the distorted feminine as well. But these are the qualities within your femininity or within you that represent the distorted masculine is really what I'm saying. So if you are possessive and you have trust issues, that is related to your inner imbalance. And this is how it plays out. That's a distorted masculine energy. Threatening. Okay? Talking, willing to fight. The lady in the parking lot I was telling you about at McDonald's trying to fight the man. Environmentally abusive. Doesn't care about the environment. Rapes Mother Earth of her resources and could give a damn. Has no connection to what sustains them. How many of you know stories of men who have no connection to what sustains them? Which is probably, in many cases, the woman in their life. Uses things without replacing them. I'm not talking about you finished the toothpaste up and didn't put it back. I'm saying going through taking what you want and not giving back. Taking. Immature. Fights. Wars. Destroys. Sexually objectifies. Exploits. Always, what is it? What is in it for me? How many women do we know like that? How many men do we know can cast aside anything of a softer nature to go strictly after what they want and what serves them, to hell with who gets hurt or lost or harmed in the process? Criticizes, the feminine, leans on the feminine. He may be emasculated, or whatever the situation is. His masculine energy is in distortion because it's deficient. So he's laying up on women. He's got 3, 4, 5 women whose houses he stops by that take care of him. He's not even a working man. He can't secure himself. He can't secure them. He can't nurture himself. He can't nurture them. So he's parking his car in everybody's garage and he's living rent free. That is a distorted energy. By the same token, the feminine who fails to live up to her potential and wants to lay up on other people and be taken care of and not be giving anything back in terms of contribution, that's problematic. And there are consequences to that. Alienates his feminine. Emotionally hardened. This is a situation where he's not emotionally flowing. He's not emotionally open. And remember, this can manifest within the feminine as well. Not being able to go into your emotions and feel at the way that you need to. Not being able to have empathy. Having a very rigid emotional walls that you set up. Hi, Albie. Say hi. This is my German Shepherd. Hi, Tootawoo. Hi, Tootawoo. I know. Disrespects the feminine. Emotional walls, withdrawals, insecure, unworthy. He's unworthy. He's insecure. Those are some of his issues. He has a multitude of issues, but why is he carrying on like this? Why does he need to step on the feminine? Why does he need to degrade the feminine? Because he himself is insecure. He himself is dissatisfied. Why might you need to do this? Why might you need to disrespect other people? Why might you need to hurt other people? It's because you yourself are suffering. Hurt people, right? So we have withdrawals, insecure, unworthy, runs from vulnerability, sexually aggressive, insensitive, shames, has to shame those around him. Okay, him is in gender, him is also in energy within. Difficulty speaking personal truths. Okay, this is the deficient energy. You are the woman, but you can't speak your personal truth. You can't take up for yourself. You can't stand up for yourself. You can't be who you are. That is because your divine masculine energy is deficient. You have to work with that energy. Aggressive alpha tendencies. This alpha that we have, well, it's a certain kind of alpha that we want, right? We don't want the kind of alpha that's doing some of the stuff in society that we see today that has run amok. Effeminate. So these are just some. All right. And this is a quote that I presented to my class today that I added to my booklet. Let me see. I'm dealing with stuff with my dog. We are all healthy and whole when these polarities are harmonized. The keys to our personal abundance within and without lies not only in our ability to heal and balance the energies of both of our polarities, but to embrace our dominant sacred energy. Whatever your dominant sacred energy is, you need to embrace that energy. That's what's going to allow you to bring balance to your relationships. Once women, and I'm putting us in the driver's seat. Why? Because we give birth. We are the cosmic womb. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm. We are the womb that mirrors the cosmic womb. We are where everything germinates. We give life to all, right? Don't let anybody else tell you anything different. It does not make sense. That too was created as a form and a way to disempower you. So once women begin to embrace and live in their sacred energy, our divine masculine counterparts will automatically follow, because we provide the fertile soil in which all things germinate. And it is our energy that grows and replenishes them. We are the first teachers. You have everything you need within you to step out and lead yourself and lead others in the freeing of the divine feminine and in the effort to help the distorted masculine embrace his divine feminine, and realize that all that See, you better stop. That all that crazy masculine energy that he thinks is all so great while he's running through pillaging, disrespecting, and doing all this crazy stuff, and the women same thing, that is not what true masculinity is all about. In fact, that is the upside down version of it. And we ourselves are in our upside down until we make the decision to do the work, to heal, to come out of the shadows, to hold ourselves accountable, and to lead the charge for the healing of ourselves, our families, and the wider community. Albie, stop. No, I'm not playing. This is a German Shepherd, and sometimes I have to show her who's alpha. Do you understand? Because this dog, these kind of dogs, you don't play with these dogs. I've had my share of stuff with her. I have to put one of those videos up here one day and show y'all what she did one day. But anyway, I love her. I love you, Albie. So the next video that I want to bring to you is going to have to do with the ways that this plays out in relationship and some of the things that we can actually do. Some of the tools that we actually need to arm ourselves with in order to be able to go in and do the work that we need so that we can be the energies that actually work from the inside out to heal. You have the power. It is a part, as I mentioned, of your soul blueprint. You have everything that you need, ladies. You are the magic. Men, divine masculines is what, the energy is that we want to see. Distorted masculines, you have the divine feminine within you. It is your polar energy. And the more that you begin to embrace this, and the more that you begin to be able to give yourself permission to feel emotion, to give yourself permission to be a nurturer and a supporter, to provide that fertile landscape from which your divine feminine can spring forth and do what is her divine mission, then we can fall into balance. We can bring balance and order to our planet. We need this. So many of our people are lost today. The youth, so many of them are lost today. They don't deserve to have to go through the things that we've had to go through because we failed to do the work and we are not willing to do the excavating and the digging that we need in order to uncover the more beautiful versions of our better selves. So I challenge you all to remain open to doing this level of self-discovery and to really recognize that it does take one person, I believe, to change the energy dynamic in a relationship. I don't feel it takes two people. I think it takes one person to do that. One person who's committed, one person who's armed with the tools and strategies to do that with, and one person who's dedicated to higher ideals and somebody that's really willing to roll their sleeves up and do what needs to be done. I think my baby forgot that I was down here filming. He doesn't realize that I can hear him down here. Can y'all hear him? Oh, he got quiet. Well, anyway, so we're getting ready to be done with the video. But video number 3, I've come up with, oh gosh, I come up with a lot that I presented to my class today. 16 bullet points within one of them, about 7 or 8 mini points, so maybe 25, 26 things that you can begin to do to shed the light of awareness on some of these issues and begin to address them. And I would like to share that with you. This is the energy that I'm working with right now in my marriage and within myself. And I have a lot of baggage that it has taken me a lifetime to amass. And so it is taking time for me to shed this emotional baggage, but it is a part of my health. Remember, we're talking about the sacral chakra energies here, and I've said this a lot, as above, so below. Wherever you have imbalance, you have energy blockages. And in this case, where the energy is out of balance, you're going to find an imbalance in your sacral chakra. And I'm going to have to do a video on the sacral chakra, and I will, because that's the energy that we're talking about here. Our sexual potency, our sexuality, our masculine and feminine energies, our reproductive energies, our power to create, our emotions, our passions, our life fires, life force energy, that stuff emanates from the sacral chakra. And so when we're out of balance, the energy in that area is out of balance. We have difficulty experiencing pleasure. We have difficulty standing in our sense of self-worth. We have difficulty knowing who we really are. We have difficulty with our emotions. These things can be on either extremes. Remember, we're talking about overactive energies, underactive energies within the energy of whatever the particular chakra is that we're talking about. So we could go on and on and on, but the video is 34 minutes. It's pushing 35 minutes. So I do want to go ahead and close this video out. And I will go ahead and put them both up. Whenever I release them, I'll make sure that the links to both are included in the video so that if you see one, you can definitely see the other, because it does you no good to aspire to be a divine feminine, the divine masculine, and not know what the distorted feminine and the distorted masculine archetypes look like, feel like, and are experienced like within and as it relates to relationships. So do yourself a favor and watch the videos together from start to finish, and be on the lookout for the video that is going to involve me going through and sharing some of the things that you can do. I'm going to put a link in the description, which is a link to a form I would like you to fill out if you happen to see this video and you would like to learn more about the course that is related to helping you reconcile these energies, helping you to embrace your divine feminine, helping you to manifest with your lovely, radiant, luminous magnetism, and helping you to be more of who you already really are, dealing with self-worth and all of these things that are a part of the divine feminine. If you're interested in taking that class, I'll be offering boot camps, which will be online, live groups, and then I'll be offering online classes that are designed to heal this energy. And by the way, my book will be out by September the 17th. You'll be able to get it on Amazon. It is called Manifesting Your Masterpiece. Manifesting Your Masterpiece, okay? Self-coaching and daily mindset reflections for up-leveling and living your best life by Tanisha Ali. I'd like you to consider purchasing a copy of that book. It is 365 daily quotes for empowering you, for creating a prosperity consciousness, and for moving forward your agenda for creating wealth in your life and living your fullest expression of the divinity and the divine you. And so that is a book that I feel can bring you great value. And I am adding in the beginning of that ways to use those quotes so that you can bring them to life in your life. And you can begin to see the power of intentionality when you purchase this book with the intention of aligning with cosmic will and aligning your chakras and getting your life in order and developing greater levels of self-awareness, mental clarity, identifying with your inner power and your goddess potential. It's an excellent book. Men can benefit from it. It's geared towards women, but it's geared towards the divine feminine. But it has, the majority of the quotes are androgynous, if you will. So anyway, join the evolution. It's been wonderful spending time with you today, beautiful butterflies and perfect people. It's been a full day of healing and classes with women, and so I'm going to close out, but I hope that you managed to siphon something from this video that you can benefit from, and I encourage you please to comment. I want to hear what you have to say. If it's constructive, if something in here resonates with you, I would love for you to share. How is this playing out in your life? What did you notice in the video that you could really identify with? What area of your energy are you struggling with the most, and why do you think that is? So please like, love, share, comment. I'm Tanisha Ali, and I am grateful as heck to have had this afternoon to spend with you. And I will see you again soon. Be productive, be prosperous, and be light, laughter, love, and peace.